What's good? What's good, world? This is your boy, the Cosmic Cultivator. Appreciate each and every one of you for joining me, checking out this video, wondering what's happening, whatnot, what have you. We're back with another grow in the 2x2 or the 2.7 by 2.7, whatever. We're just back. We had problems, we had issues, but we'll find out what that problem and issue is in this here video. Just stick with me. This is an educational video. Contents are for adults 21 years of age or older. We're legal. Nothing is for sale. I'm not providing any sources. I'm only documenting my grow. And we're back with an experimental kind of grow or experimental kind of seed, you can say, that I don't know much about. I've never heard of it because it was a new seed that came out from this company that I wanted to try. I'm not going to drop names of it, but I've tried to drop names before, and a lot of times videos didn't really do that well. So we're going to try to stray away from that as well. But we try to pop these two seeds called Special Queen. They were new at the time when they released. So I was like, hey, I want to give it a try. But look at them. They're like having some weird, it's having some weird growth where it's growing upside down. No matter which way the seed is planted or which way I put the seed into the soil, the outcome of the seed or the seedling is always having it come upside down or in a J form. We got two plants, or we have two seeds that are popped into this one pot because we noticed that it wasn't doing well for the first seed. But look at the second seed is doing the same thing as the first seed. So it's like, what? Maybe it's just genetics. Could be. We got our quick one here. We got another quick one as well. And our third quick one. But all three of these ones in our pots are the same age as that their Special Queen. And the Special Queen had some weird deformation. What the heck? Deformity. Just like that leaf right there. How do we have one long leaf and one short leaf on that plant? Yeah. Thinking about just trashing this. To be quite honest with you. We'll put it right up. We're deciding to just put the lid on it. Put a humidity dome on it. As you can tell, there's two plants in this tent here from the last grow because we did not have room in the 4x4 at the time. So we had to use this here 2x2, 2.7 by 2.7 if you want to be more precise with the size. Because we didn't have room, we had to bring it into here. And yeah, we just start watering it. Still using this here water container. If you guys seen the last video or you've seen the last hour-long video that we released before, that this plant or the OG Kush that are in here at the moment at this size are from the last grow video, because we are continuously growing from one video to another. So if you see some things in this video from a different video, that's the reason why, because these videos are being recorded side by side of one another. Going into this run, the setup was simple in theory but crowded in reality. I had 3 autos, but in total I had 5 autos, but we're down to 3 in 2 photo periods, all sharing in the same 2x2 space. The autos were the main focus of the full run, while the photos were really there just to veg out and hold their space until later. So right now, I already knew space management was going to be one of the biggest challenges. A 2x2 can definitely be productive, but once you start mixing multiple plants with different timelines, things get complicated real fast. Autos are on their own schedule and they don't like to wait for you. Photos give you a little bit more control, but in a setup like this, everything starts competing for light, airflow, and room to stretch. That was basically the experiment here. I wanted to see how much I can get done in a small space while keeping the run moving. Some people might say it was too much for one tint, and honestly, by the end of this run, I could see both sides of that. Still, that's part of documenting a real grow. Not every run is perfectly optimized. Sometimes you're learning in real time, testing and working to see what plants tell you. Very early into this run, I started noticing something off with the special queen seeds. The growth just didn't look normal to me. Instead of that clean, healthy, early structure that you want to see, some of the seedlings started showing deformities, twisted growth, unusual leaf formation, and just an overall look that told me something wasn't right. And that's actually one of the most frustrating parts of growing from seeds. Sometimes you can do everything mostly right and still end up with a plant that just doesn't want to develop normally. Genetics can play a role, early stress can also play a role in this as well. And sometimes it's just one of those things where the plant never really gets going the way you hope. And around this point is where I made the call to trash one of the seedlings. It wasn't an easy choice, but I'd rather be honest about that than act like the plant made it or ever makes it. It wasn't worth dedicating more time, space, and energy to the plant that was already showing signs of struggling that early. That decision kind of set the tone for the whole grow. This run was going to be more about adapting than trying to force perfection. And honestly, that's the big lesson in itself. Sometimes the best grower move is knowing when to stop investing into a weak plant and focus on the ones that still have potential. At this stage, the goal was just to keep remaining plants healthy, stable, and progressing without overreacting. When something goes wrong early on in the run, it's easy to start second guessing everything. You start to wonder if it was the medium, the watering, the light, the genetics, or a combination of all of it. But a lot of the time, the smartest thing that you could do is avoid making 10 new changes at once. Let the plants respond, keep documenting, and see what the healthy ones want to do. That's what I tried to do here. The auto started settling in and getting established while the photos just kept vegging alongside them. It wasn't the most ideal setup on paper, but it was a setup I had, so the focus became making the best of it. This was where patience really started to matter. Early on, not every day looks dramatic, but those small changes stack up fast. Stem thickness, leaf size, node spacing, color, overall posture. This is the part of the growth where you start to read the plant instead of just watching them exist. As the run moved deeper into veg, the bigger issue became space. A 2x2 filled up faster than people could think, especially when you're not just running one or two plants. With three autos trying to move toward flower and two photos just trying to veg out in the same environment, the tent started getting crowded fast. That means I had to pay closer attention to the plant shape, spacing, and how the canopy was developing. In a small tent, it doesn't take much before the one plant starts blocking another. Airflow gets reduced and certain parts of the canopy stop getting equal light. Discoloration or burning going on the tips here, possibly because of the light too close. So I moved it back. Moved it all back. We're doing all well here, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's gonna be tucking it around, and yeah, we'll be low stress training this stuff soon. But I started uptaking more water or whatever. I don't know. It's been uptaking more water. I don't know, like it's doing more well in here than my other tint here. there's a lot of yellowing going on with the other tint. Let's go, baby. We've already topped it and it's growing back. So far we topped this one as well and it's growing back and no signs of flower. So that's a good thing. That is one good thing. Oh shoot. One good thing about it. We are doing a time lapse as well. Let's see where it's at. Is it off? Yeah, let's make this a little bit higher. It used to be small, but we got a big plant. This little tiny one right here is not doing well. I don't know. This is called Special Queen. And yeah, it's going not so special. I don't know. But it's small. Real small. And it's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We made a big mistake, chat. You'll notice it once you see it. Yes, we lost part of our plant. Trying to add, clips to it. I guess this plant wasn't as resilient as I thought it would be. So it said, hey, I'm gonna die today. Leave me alone and let me be. Let me pray today. All I'm doing is coming in and just tucking these babies down. Down, 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 down. We got these babies right here still going on. My gosh. I didn't think it would go, but look at it, ladies and gents. Look at it going. It's praying as well. Look at the praying going. It is reaching for brightness. It is reaching for the light. We got this one still here. I have no clue why it's doing this. But this is doing that, yeah. Special Queen, I have no clue why it's doing this as well. Maybe because the light's a little bit too far. I don't know. I should raise that up higher. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Look at the OG Kush is doing business. Like, come on, my guy. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to figure it out. Every day is like I got one. Every day is like I don't know. We got enough time. We just got done watering this like within the last hour or two. Late water today, but hey, we're gonna be repotting this right here, this OG Kush, to a new pot tomorrow. I already repotted the OG Kush 1. This is number 2. This is number 3. Number 3 is going well. We got some praying going, like praying to the Lord. No, but for real, look what we got here. We chopped it right there. We decided just to chop it because the topping or the plant already broke itself. So I figured I might as well just go ahead and cut it. And these are now becoming the 2 main shoots. But we are in flower. We did lose a lot. But hey, you live and you learn. Like I did here. I kind of did it right here. Got the stair effect going and we're gonna do the one here, but I decided I would just bend it. I'm just gonna keep bending it with the not a clip, but just a regular old, what is it called? Just a regular old garden tie, twist tie. And there we go. I think this is probably going to be the smallest one here so far. Queen update. Like, I don't even know what's going on with it. This is like the second seed I popped in, and this is what we get so far. It's been 4 weeks. Special Queen, 4 weeks in the soil. As it looks like it's not doing well. This is 4 weeks right here. for this OG Kush photo period. Yeah, we got other grows going in here, but mainly this is what we're focusing on for this grow. This special queen. Wow, you see this right here? This is the main reason why I wanted to get rid of it. It was already flowering at this small stage here, and we just had a last grow where we were in a solo cup and they both flowered at the same stage or at the same size. So you know what? I figured we were going to just trash it, get rid of it now. My gosh, look at this. Weak sauce. Well, it gives us more space in the tint, I guess. Look at the brighter side of things. All right, yeah. Yeah, we decided to just trash those special queens, and we're back into the tint. And it's time to top up the soil. Make sure you're always wearing gloves and a mask when handling things like this. We're topping up the soil with some 444, 284 blend, 11 tablespoons of 284, and 1 tablespoon of 444 to keep a little bit more of the veg going, because it looks like it's needing some more, I want to say, nitrogen, because the plant is looking a little yellow for looks during this time. And normally I do add a little bit of 444 at the end as well, still just in case the plant needs it. Massage some of that into the soil. We didn't have a lot of worm castings, unfortunately, so we try to like disperse as much as we can. Unfortunately, we didn't even have enough for these two, so don't even worry about that. Make it look like you didn't see that. As I said before, I like to document these grows and show all the good and the bads of the grow. And sometimes you have some good grows, sometimes you got some bad grows. And that's just the cards that you get dealt during these things. And I'm just here to document and show you guys and gals the process of what I've been going through or what I've been dealt with in these cards. Because the plants were all on the exact same timeline, the tint had a mixed stage dynamic the whole time. The autos were moving with urgency, while the photos were basically passengers for part of the ride. That kind of mixed run is interesting because it really shows how different plants type have under the same roof. Some are stretching, some are stacking, some are just building structure. Same tint, same general environment, but completely different pace. This is also the stage where I started noticing which plants had stronger vigor and which ones were just average. Some plants came out of the gate strong, symmetrical, and confident. Others grew slow, branched differently, and respond in their own weird way. And that difference matters later when flower begins to reveal more about the genetics. Once the autos start transitioning into flower, that's when the run began for real. Early growth is one thing, but flower is where every little difference in structure, color, stretch, and bud development starts to separate one plant from another. At this point, the photos were still just there to veg, so the main show became the autos, and in a packed tint like this, flowers change everything. Plant structure, buds start forming, airflow became more important, and little differences in phenotype start becoming way more obvious. This is one of the reasons why I like documenting full runs. You can start to see the seed that seemed similar You can start to see seeds that seem similar early on, but by flower, they start telling completely different stories. One might stack differently, one might stretch more, one might stay lime green, another might get darker. One might start showing color much easier than expected. That's exactly what started happening here. Instead of everything looking uniform, the personalities of each plant began showing up more and more as flowering kicked in. And honestly, that's one of the coolest parts of growing from seeds. It's unpredictable in a frustrating way sometimes, but also it is fascinating, but
Back to
also
the
in a
tins.
fascinating way.
We got two beautiful ones going here. Two beautiful OGs. One is 1 month behind, so we got this is 2 months old, and it's been vegging for about 2 months. This has been vegging for about 30 days.
This looks like it's needing some repotting soon. To be quite honest with you, it looks like it needs to be repotted. Is this flowering? And it's flowering too. That's weird. Look, it's flowering. This is OG. This is not an Autoflower. Little resinous butters. Nutter butters. I want to keep the leaves, I guess. I don't know. Foliage. Photosynthesis. I don't know. But at this point, I noticed that taking off all these little buds help, so that the biggest bud at the tops, or these sites up here, can grow optimal. There we go. Whoa, this one bent this direction. Oh my gosh. Oops. Well, that's forever gonna be like that. Can't save that. This one bent underneath. It was supposed to go over here like this, but I guess it didn't grow up big enough. But look at where we're at. How many weeks are we in flower? I don't know. Shit. They said this can grow like, thank you, such and such feet. Get into these little ones down here. Like, look at that. That's not gonna be nothing. That's not gonna be anything. That one down there, look at that one all the way down here. Nothing. Look at that. I'll zoom it in. Right here. Don't mind my ashy ass hands. I just got out of the shower. Did not put on lotion yet. Maintenance for the day completed. This is still wet. We still got moisture. Like, I can see the moisture in the soil. That's still good. And this one, I can still see some moisture inside the top soil. But I'm pretty sure we're probably, yeah, dry at the bottom. This is weird. It's purple. At this point, I also topped the OG Kush plants about a week ago in the back right-hand corner. If you haven't noticed it, we also repotted it in the last video. So if you want to check out the last video, you can see how I repotted the plant. I didn't have enough soil, or I didn't have enough buckets, so we ended up using what we had. Make do with what you got. You're not just growing one idea of a plant, you're seeing individual expressions show themselves in real time. As flower continue, one of the most interesting things from this run became One of the most interesting things from this run became impossible to ignore. One of the plants started turning purple while the other two autoflowers kept, and this is where the grow got really interesting to me, because these plants came from the same general line, but they were clearly expressing themselves differently. Yes, so now we're here. So if you guys didn't catch out the last video, we are unboxing ourselves our veg tent here in the bedroom. We decided we are gonna make this storage room our bedroom and buy a dedicated tent or upgraded tent that is a little bit better than the Zazzy tent that I've been using. Keep in mind, we're gonna still be using the Zazzy tent in the near future. Jeez, but we just wanted to make sure that you can see that, hey, we got this new tent here. Check it out. If you want to see the full video of me unboxing it, I'll leave it in the description below or an annotation right here in the right hand corner of this video. But we decided to go with this here Vivosun tent only because we were already going Vivosun product, and I just wanted to keep it, you know, Vivosun with the whole thing. But in the near future, we might end up going with possibly another Vivosun and another tent as a contender just to test out Vivosun. Look at this. There might be a new light. Nah, tricked you. It's not a new light. It's an old light we had before, but it gets the job done. It gets the job done. I've had success with this light here. I've had a grow or two with this light perfectly fine-ish. I don't know. But for now, using this light to start out the plants and veg, it's perfectly fine. And then we can upgrade it to starting these lights out in seedling stage or getting them start out is perfectly fine. And then we can upgrade it to the bigger tents when it's time to actually veg them out and flowering them. And now we have to dial the light in at this point. For those that are wondering right now, I'm using a lux meter. It's okay to use a lux meter. A lot of people are using power meters, but if you use a lux meter, you can calculate how much lux or light intensity that you're obtaining or intaking into the plant and convert it into par using Google or what have you. You can even use ChatGPT if you're trying to use AI. I don't know. I'm not trying to judge you or anything like that. We're just here growing and doing some things here. Who cares, you know? Let's just use the tools that we have at hand to try to become a better grower at home, so we don't have to rely on anyone else, right? That's what we're here for, right? I don't know. That's why I wanted to grow. That's my mindset. That's why I wanted to grow. Geez, this fan right here, we had to get a new fan because that one was clicking a lot. But it's, you know, it's what it is. I think it's because one of those times when you have the fan a little bit close to a wall and the fan is trying to rotate and it's hitting the wall, and now it's trying to rotate and hitting the wall at the same time, and now I guess it broke off alignment and now it just starts clicking. I'm not a fan expert, but that's what it sounds like what happened to the fan. But I'm getting confused. I'm getting off alignment. I'm getting off track what I was saying. Let's get back to talking about the actual seeds that's in the tent right now, because we're talking about the coloring of the green and we're talking about the coloring of the plant being purple. That's one of the moments where you get reminded that the seeds are not carbon copies of each other. Even when they come from the same pack, you can still end up with completely different phenotypes. One plant might lean more towards purple coloration in flower, while another one stays generally green all the way through. One might finish a little bit differently, and the variations in this part is what makes seed runs exciting. But it also is why one grow can look so different from the next, even when labels sound the same. Seeing that purple come in while the others stayed green was one of the standout moments in this whole video. It added consistency, it added contrast, it added curiosity, and made me pay even more closer attention to how each plant was finishing. And no, that difference doesn't automatically mean that one is better than the other. Sometimes it's just expression. Sometimes the environment interacting with genetics. Sometimes it's both, but visually, it definitely made the run more interesting. If there is one constant challenge throughout the entire one, it was definitely the size of the tent compared to the number of plants in it. A 2x2 can be a great little space, but when you got 3 autoflowers and 2 photos taking up room just to veg, there's basically no space at all. That means every decision matters. How plants are positioned matters, how air movement matters, how light hits the canopy matters. Even just reaching into the tent without bumping branches becomes part of the challenge. And I think this run really shows both sides of that kind of setup. On one hand, it's cool to see how much life I could pack into a small space. And on the other hand, it definitely reminds me that more plants doesn't always mean it's easier or better. Sometimes it just means more management, more crowding, and more chances for plants to compete with each other. Because runs like this teach you a lot. They teach you about plant behavior, about limitations, and about what you might do differently next time. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to document the whole thing honestly, instead of just only showing highlights and reels. One of the plants got deeper in flower. The focus shift from just getting through the run to really observing how each one was finishing. This is where the small details start standing out more. Bud density, color, frosting, swelling, posture, leaf fade. The green plants had their own look too. They carried more of a classic green flowering hue, and together the contrast tint looked way more diverse than you expect from a small grow. This stage is also where patience matters the most. By late flower, everybody wants to rush to the finish line. You've already invested time. The tint smells strong, the buds look more developed every day, and it becomes more tempting to think they're done before they actually are. But late flower is where a lot of the final chapter builds. The last stretch of the run really shapes the final results. And this is where I was trying to keep things moving, keeping everything stable and letting the plants show me how they wanted to finish. Documenting this stage was one of my favorite parts because visually this is when the whole growth starts paying back. After all the waiting, the weird early deformities, and the crowding in the tent, this is where the run finally starts looking like something real. This tent taught me a lot. First, not every seedling is worth forcing all the way through. When that early deformity showed up and one seedling clearly wasn't moving right, trashing it ended up being the better decision. Second, genetics can express themselves in a very different way, even within the same run. Watching one plant turn purple while the others stay green was perfect example of that. Same environment, different expression. Third, a 2x2 can absolutely produce, but once you start mixing multiple autos with extra photos at the same space, you really have to stay up on top of management. You can do it, but definitely something you feel every step of the way. And probably the biggest lesson overall was no grow is perfect. There is always going to be weird moments, questions, and things that don't go exactly according to plan. But it doesn't mean that the run failed. Sometimes those exact moments are what makes the grow worth documenting because they teach you more than a smooth one ever would. That's what I really like in this video. A real look at a real run, not just the best angles, the best moments, but weird seedling issues, the crowding, the phenotype differences, and how it came together by the end. Eventually, it's time to harvest, and harvest always feels a little surreal, especially after documenting a full run from the beginning. You can go from staring at a tiny seedling and wondering what kind of grow you're about to have to standing there cutting down the plant and now carrying the entire story of the run on them. Now checking the soil just to make sure that the soil was moist and ready to go for me, whatever, just checking if it needs to be watered. Also coming through at this point to take off any lower structure or lower growth, new growth under the plant. Remove clips as well and clean up the plant for more of its flowering stage. These are the clips that I'm using right here. I don't know the brand specifically, it's just a random no-name brand. And like I said, mentioned, we just taken off any lower growth or any lower new growth of flowering down here so that the plant can focus its energy up higher or at the actual flowering sites above. Instead of getting rid of that their special queen, in its place we have the OG Kush. And it's looking weird. It looks like little small prickly those little prickly plants that stick onto your legs when you're walking through the woods. If I find the name of it, I'll add it into the video, or I'll just add a picture of it right here. This is what they're looking like in comparison. I don't know, at this point maybe they should be removed off because they're small, they're not going to be developing into anything. But then again, this is also an experimental grow. Everything I do is for experimental purposes because this is quick one, and I've been growing quick ones for the last 4 or 5 videos. Maybe I want to say for about 4 videos that I've grown quick one. In every video, the flowering sites have always been the same color. So seeing them change this time is one of those things like, whoa, that's pretty awesome. Got little growth still growing. So we still got to take off all of these little things that's underneath here because like I said, the plant is focusing its energy on growing still. And we want it to focus its energy on producing more and focus on its flowering sites and stacking. It could be that the intensity of the light as well was probably too low. I could have increased it. But check out the right hand corner side. You saw that? This is where this plant was broken. I've accidentally tried to low stress train it or high stress train it. Whichever. I just tried to train it and it snapped. And then after that, I tried, doing the old saran wrap type situation. Oh. There we go. We got the little lower ones removed. But like I said, we try to fix the branch that broke, or we try to salvage it. And I use saran wrap to try to actually get the plant to hold, or actually get the plant to try to stick together. Came back the next day, it broke, and it was not gonna fix or mend itself. So I figured I'd take this time to actually just remove it myself, not focus on what I did wrong, but focus forward on what I could do to improve in the future. This water in. That tag right there is bothering me. It's just sitting there. What in time? When I water in, I like to try to get the top area or the top soil moistened first before I start watering in more. Then I go hit the bottom of the tray so that the water can be uptaken through the bottom of the tray as well. Because at this point we are using fabric pots. And I just wanted to use fabric pots as a test to see if fabric pots are better than your original plastic pots. We also got the other small little plants that you saw earlier that were in flower. They were part of the last video grow. So, oh yeah, those little small 1 cup looking plants. They were very tiny looking. 1 flower on top, Autoflower that we did recently grow. Those are also quick ones. I want to know honestly in the comments below, what are you doing? What are you growing on right now? How is your plants doing in this situation? What did you start growing first? Did you start growing autos first, or did you start growing photos first? But for me, I was under the assumption that autoflowers would be easier. You can just plant them and grow them. Boom, they'll grow fast, strong, and produce a lot from it. As I went on a little bit longer growing, I noticed that I'm not really doing as well as other people are doing. Maybe I should stop comparing myself to most, but maybe it would be best if I tried photos out. So during this time, I figured maybe we can just go along the side with photos and autos at the same time. Maybe that would be a good combination. I don't know. We're trying here. But what I do know is that we don't have to worry about changing light schedule because photos on their own run on a 12-12 schedule of lighting, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. If you want to change the actual plant's veg to flower, but if you want to keep it in veg, you can use 18 hours on, which autoflowers do like. We are now looking beautiful now. Stacking has commenced, and now we're near the end of the flowering stage. We're towards the finish line. As before, we have purple flowering, and we also have green flowering. Aside that, we also have our two OG Kush. We're at 36, a little bit over 36 inches tall for these plants. And this is, I believe, my fifth or, yeah, this is probably the best grow that I've had so far in a small tent. Again, I just wanted to test out this here Zazzy tint with the Vivosun 100 SE light to see maybe it's not the tint, maybe it's just the light. If you change the light out, you can get better growth. And as you can see here, we went from a bigger tint that was that 4x4 last grow to this here 2.7 by 2.7 or almost a 3x3. We're using a 100 watt light by Vivosun as well. We're starting to see some changes in the leaf structure. We're seeing different coloring here as well. As we're in the tent, the only thing that we're doing now is just tucking the leaves behind, or tucking exposed or blocking, tucking away leaves that are blocking sights. There we go. Jeez. We're looking good in here. And we have OG Kush looking to be flipped into flowers soon. We're back in the tent now. Time to top up the soil. It's been a little bit over a month now since we did top up the soil here. And I like to top my soil up every 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how fast or how much the plant is intaking or absorbing. I don't know. In my opinion, this probably could have been the worst time to top up, but you live and you learn, you live and you learn. Next time, don't even top it up. Just leave the plant to its vices and let it go, for lack of a better term. Just let it grow and go. And if it happens to actually lose some of its coloring and the process, that's senescence happening. At this point in my grow, I didn't know.
So now I'm over here topping up the soil, massaging in this here 284. This time we have no 444, but 284 and worm casting. A lot of people recommend massaging into the soil. How can you massage it into the soil if your soil layer is hard as rocks? You know, so now it's basically me smashing or crushing the soil layer in order for me to get some of the nutrients into the holes or into here as well. So I'm like, yeah, I guess massaging doesn't work. You gotta actually brutally smash up the soil. But yeah, so like I tried, like many of people online have recommended, you gotta massage the soil nutrients into the soil. What happens if the roots are close to the soil? If the roots are close to the top of the soil, typically when that happens, I normally would just add extra soil with my topping as well. It doesn't affect the plant in my experience. It didn't affect the plant. So you can also top up with some nutrients or some 284 by Gaia, depending on where your dry amendments that are organic. And you can also use your worm castings, mix it with some soil, and top it on top of your actual soil if you don't want to have that hard top layer of soil, if that makes sense. Because after you put a lot of amendments like I'm doing right now, the top layer of the soil becomes really hard, like a rock. And that's the reason why we're here now. This topsoil became so hard that it was a little bit difficult for me to massage in some of this here nutrients during top feeding or top dressing here. Again, tip, make sure you're wearing your mask. Also, if you made it this far, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Turn on that bell notification to know when or where I am uploading these videos. I've seen a lot of people online talk about how YouTube is cracking down on people that are doing this kind of content that I'm making, and it could possibly be YouTube Shorts. So if that is the case, we're gonna probably end up not doing any more shorts as well. But for now, since it's not really the case, quote unquote, we're still gonna be uploading our shorts too as well. So after every video in a short form, I like to chop the video up and kind of make it a little bit into snippets, you can say, of me growing in a short form that can get users a little bit more into the full length video. So I would post up a short form after I post up the long form video.
December 29th, back in the tent to water the back plants. We open up the sides.
Back in the tent after watering 2 days ago. She's looking beautiful. We got life doing some things here, praying and doing its thing. We also moved out one of the OG Kushes into the bigger tent, or the 4x4. She's still looking hairy as can be.
We got time lapse that we're going to be using in the near future with this grow. So stay tuned for that. That's something you want to see. Is what I'm not really that good with it, but hopefully we get something good, I guess. I really want to see these grow like this, looking beautiful. Like, look at that. mean, I've grown bigger than this before, but not with this like breed. There it goes. Haven't had really that success with this breed. Usually it turns out this small. Like this tiny one, like I don't know how big that is. That's like, we got a ruler right here so we can measure it. This is approximately 29 inches, 30 inches tall. And the ones in the back, if I didn't use low stress training, would have been taller. But this smaller side one right here is around 34 inches tall. But then we have the ones in the back. If I didn't low stress train it, look at that. If I didn't low stress train it, it would have been way taller. It's already over 36. That's why I got a ruler back here so we can see the size difference of it changing. But we're looking for some, possibly in a few more, maybe 3 weeks. It should be good. Seeing some beautiful greenery here. It's cool, cool, cool. Stacking. Stackage is going well. Yeah. Get some water going in this. This one. Oh yeah, that one still got a lot of moisture. I can even see that it's still wet, so. Yeah. Oh. I'll keep my pasta with the food.
And it was at this point I realized that I was doing an optimal grow that was perfectly fine, all organic. And I was like, I don't think I'll ever be able to recreate this here again. We're back in the tent, just checking things out. There's not much that we can do now besides just water, keep airflow going. Once we start overwatering or once we start staggering the airflow, that's when we're going to start entering problems with mold or powdery mildew. I'm knocking on wood because I haven't had that situation happen to me once and I don't want it to happen now. So we're going to continue to keep growing and growing. And if you want to see a time lapse of that, that's something I always do as well. I will record, post up the hour-long video, we make a short, and we also will upload a time-lapse video of the grow. So it's basically we're like getting 3 videos out of 1. And if you ever have any questions, drop it in the comments below. I'm always here to try to help out. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm not doing this because I'm professional or anything. I am learning just like you. I have questions just like you.
There's now noticeable sort of like leaf tip burns, and that can be contributed to the last topping we just did that we didn't need at that point, but we did do it just because this plant was going for about 2.5 months. Yeah, I don't know. I thought to myself, hey, every 3 weeks we should start topping it. But then again, that was probably a bad sign to do that because it takes a while for the nutrients to uptake, at least a week for the nutrients to uptake. So I figured, hey, if we add it in at week 3, week 4, the plant will be able to uptake it. But then again, you have to remind yourself that at week 4, the plant is not going to uptake nutrients
So if you're going to be adding in nutrients at the same time that it needs to deplete the nutrients, it's not going to deplete it. It's actually going to combine both of them. And I didn't really think about that until it was a little bit too late. And now we have nutrient burn, but we still have the plant doing itself a favor and flowering without my help. Now we're well into the end of flowering. The last stretch is all about stacking and keeping the environment clean, and that's it. Now there's the noticeable purpling in the plant comparative to the other one that is green. That is also a continuation of the last video that we had as well, where we also had purple and green plants. So these are also the same seeds. So in total we had 10. We had 10 quick ones, and 10 quick ones turn green, 10 turn purple, all in total.
I don't know. I think I'm getting better at it. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm getting a little bit better, getting a little hang of it. We got a little larfy bud going in, some like right here. We got a small bud going. We got another small one going right here. It's not really a big deal. I don't really care that much about small, big. Right now, I'm just worrying about flavor and like profile of the actual bud. All that extra stuff is when I'll get a little bit better at growing, then I'll worry about that. But it looks like we're getting some foxtailing possibly going here. I don't know, maybe. I see another one down here, a larfy bud. Let's take that one out. Look how that looks like. If I would have left this, it would have developed into a nothing. Just like I was when I first started growing. I didn't know. When I first started growing these, I was like, oh man, I don't want to take that off. That's potential. No, it's not. Throw it away. We got the OG Kush. That's about, I don't know, 10 weeks in. This was topped only one time. I should lower it though, so it can raise, get to the height of it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do after. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. We are in week 11. Week 11 of growing. We're starting to see signs of discoloration, which is typical signs of the plants cannibalizing itself when using organics. Smells looking gorgeous in here, I tell you what. I'll tell you what, Bobby. This freaking is huge, look at that. This is as big as my freaking hand. Holy moly, donut shop. And the smells like lemony snicket going on here. No, it's not. This is where it's basically got mainlined. I don't know if you can see it down there. Right there is where the plant broke at in the middle. It would have been as tall as this one and wide, but yeah, I kind of was playing around too much, trying to top the plant and bend it, doing it like this, low stress training, and it broke. So I just left it, and here we are. Another feet, the same thing where it's purplish. They're the same, you know, bud, but look at this one. Holy crap. Thicker ones, but not as much. Small ones, but a lot. I don't know. This is part of a different plant. Like this one came out to be a little bit smaller, significantly. All right. Till the next video, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, this is your boy, the Cosmic Cultivator. Peace out.
Now at this point, we see the plant getting a little frosty, or the trichomes are looking, and here's a look at what it looks like now. We're seeing the plant
go into senescence, but also we're seeing a lot of greenery at the same time. That's a good thing and also a bad thing because we're getting nearing the end of flowering and we want to see more signs of the plant basically changing colors, quote unquote, in this time. But then again, we're growing organic, so a bunch of things can change in the process of growing organic. We're also seeing some frost from the trichomes now, or noticeable frost in the trichomes from afar instead of having to get real close up to check it. Except for in this case, because we're using a macro lens to check the frost or check the finishing of the actual plant. We got some milky and we got some ambering. And one of the most bittersweet moments, chopping the plant down. We're putting it in to 24 to 48 hour darkness. I don't know if I just seen online somewhere someone said something about how if you leave it in darkness for 24 to 48 hours, the plant starts developing better sugars, and I don't know. It doesn't hurt the plant. It doesn't affect it at all. Just putting it in the darkness, it's not a big deal to me. Yeah, it's still looking pretty weird looking to me. I don't know. By looking at the trichomes, it's a little bit clearer trichomes, but we have about 87% around that is milky trichomes, and the rest were ambering. And I figured at that point, we don't need the plant anymore. So we're gonna go ahead and put it into darkness, and we'll come back later on. Unfortunately, I didn't have any extra tents to put these plants in, so I had to go in to the extra storage room where I keep my studio booth, or I keep my sound booth, and I had to use the sound booth as a dry booth, or a dry tent as of now, or a makeshift dry tent. But in the future, we'll go ahead and actually take this here tent or booth down and get an actual tent going, so we can have an actual tent for drying in the future. But for now, we'll make do with what we have. No need to fuss over something we cannot change in the moment. Just push on forward. She's looking beautiful now. It's been about 24 to 48 hours that
Like, oh my gosh, y'all, look at this. This is just craziness right here. Like, the thickness of these compared to the other ones back here. I mean, look how it is compared to my hand. It's not that big, it's not that small. They're not even bouncy. They're pretty hard and thick. But the smells are like kind of citrusy, lemony. And then this one, let me use the other hand. This one is like more lemony, citrusy, and this one's more piney, citrusy. I don't know. But for this one, back here, they're both the same plant. This is quick one. This is quick one, but this one looks more purple. I mean pink. This is quick one. This is quick one, but this one looks more purplish, pinkish. I don't know. What does it look like to you? It looks kind of purple to me. Pinkish. I don't know. Compared to this one's green, obviously. But it's time to chop, baby. It is time to chop stick. Chop, chop, chop sticks. 75 days in flower. We're 11 weeks in. I believe we're 11 weeks in. That's what I mean. It's kind of like purple. Here are, ladies and gents, my gromies and gromettes. We are in the tent drying. We had to cut this one early to dry it because we didn't have enough room, but I wanted to try something out, chopping it, or should I wait 2 days in darkness and then chop it? I didn't trim it, so I left these on to help slow down the dry process. I don't know. But look at it, looking beautiful. You got a little fan down here that's going to be pushing wind. I don't need this in here anymore. But yeah, we got a little hygrometer right here. This is what it's like when the tent's open. This is the humidity and the temperature in this room right now, but not the actual tent. So we'll go with this one to be more specific, with the Gobi one, until my budget can allow me to grab another Vivosun one with the probe attached to it. I don't need any of these leaves up here. Just adding more future problems, I don't know. But I just don't need those up there. I don't want it to have too much veg or whatever. Like comparing this one to these ones right here, I mean, they're both kind of the same in their own way, I guess.
I'm not expecting much. Just want to grow and make content and show people what I'm doing, and hopefully people can help me, because I don't even know what I'm doing at times. I'm using online forums, I'm using online videos. Hey, I'm also using ChatGPT. Use the tools that you're given or the tools that are around you. And this video is sponsored by me. Shout out to me. And also shout out to you, the viewer, coming through, liking, sharing, checking out what I'm doing. All I can hope for and ask for.
appreciate you for checking out this video, whatnot, what have you. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on that bell notification, and let me know what you're growing on right now down below in the comments. And as always, it's your boy, the Cosmic Cultivator. Peace out.